Hey, HR friends, welcome back. We're in the 4-3 emotional 6.5 day sequence. We're going to talk about day five. Day five is right here in this white rectangle. All right. Now, if you haven't been with us before, we highly recommend you check out the entire 6.5 day overview we did for the 4-3. To do that, you just back out of this video. This button's right below the video that you're watching right now, and that'll catch you up. It'll also give you the heads up on how we do these forecasts because we speed through them pretty quick and we assume you know some of the core information. All right, so let's keep moving here. So day five is going to get pretty spicy. And what you really got to worry about in this first 12-hour section is there's going to be an emotional polarity flip. And then halfway through this segment, we're going to have a mental polarity flip hit at the same time. Now, these are 6.5 and 7.5 day frequencies. They're very strong. And when these agitations happen, they don't just go up and down, up and down. They're going to hold, and now they're going to hold for the rest of this period. So for the next 2.5 days, and then it's going to flip the other direction. We're going to have another 2.5 days of these strong emotional and mental polarity flips happening. And this is important to understand because what these do is they really challenge us. Okay, they start to fatigue our defensive design, and they hinder our ability to make decisions that aren't going to be reactionary. Okay, and this pattern, that's what it's trying to do. And we always talk about that number four. We'll look at it in first person. We're at a four here pretty much the rest of the time out. And that's not even considering these up and down moves, especially as we get closer to the end with third person. And when you combine these two and we look at this, this is going to be a challenging 2.5 days here. And then when this reverses, it's going to be equally as challenging. So red alert, red alert, red alert. And you are going to notice that people are going to be quick to be agitated, quick to react. And you definitely don't want to do that because if you let this pattern fool you, what it does is it just ages you faster and it creates the stress that makes you miserable and all the people around you miserable. It adds up to create the diseases that then take the quality away from us at the end of our life. All right, so let's come down here now. We're going to take a look at what the testing sequence is going to be. And we've had pretty strong testing going on in the upper left quadrant. You see how we've been at that number four and above, and it's been kind of traveling through that. Now, day five, that's going to let off a little bit. Okay. So, some good news that we're going to get a little bit less on the upper left. Upper right is staying about where it was. Lower left is going to kick up a little bit, especially at the end of this period. And then you can see in the end of this sequence, left lower quadrant's really going to get tested. And when we talk about these testing sequences, we're talking about these are the relationships connected to these frequencies. So if you're out of balance with your teammates, or if you're out of balance with your routines, then you're going to experience some unpleasant things as these frequencies test us in this upcoming period. Right lower quadrant, it's going to bump up a little bit too at the end here. Important to understand this stuff. Now, what do you have to do if you don't want to take damage? If you don't want to have premature or accelerated aging, what you have to do is this. You just got to commit to your team, get along with everybody, and you have to balance your routine with our teammates. And routines can't be about us. Our routine has to only be about our team. And what our routines have to result in is to make sure that every future team member and every future family, no matter where they're born, is going to have an equal opportunity to experience life and develop and learn. That's what we're supposed to be doing here, but our defensive design, well, it's tricked us, okay? It's tricked us into thinking we don't have to get along with certain people, and it's tricked us into thinking that we don't have to balance our routine. These governing frequencies say differently. This is just biofeedback. You're in an interactive experience. It's trying to teach you if you don't learn, you take damage, you get punished. If you do learn, you get a reward. You get to get the heck out of here. We talk about that on our website too. All right. So let's get down now. We're going to talk about the zoomed in 24-hour period here. Now, we're doing this a little bit different starting today. We're only going to post the UTC time. And if you know your time zone offset, then you just screenshot this and you just plus or minus whatever your time zone is, and you're going to know exactly where these peaks are. Now, we're doing this because we strongly recommend you go to healthreconnected.com and you use our live feed. Every time you see somebody getting stressed out or starting to be argumentative or defensive, or when you're starting to feel that way, we want you to open this up and check this graph. And you're going to see, because that time bar is going to tell you exactly where you're at. And you're going to notice that you've been manipulated by this pattern. We want you to confirm that as soon as possible. Make sure you're using our live feed as much as possible. Now, the other thing we're going to discuss here on this image are the alignments that are coming up in this next 24-hour period. And you can see this is a pretty busy day in alignments. All right, so let's motor through these alignments today. Alignments are just amplified moments where we can point out that you are most certainly in a biofeedback. If you've ever had a headache that just came on, or your digestion starts to act up, or you get that trigger point or that stiffness that roams around your body, You start paying attention to when these alignments come and what quadrants of the body or parts of your body these alignments are affecting, and you're going to soon find out that it's just your unbalanced choices and there's consequences to them. That's what we're trying to do here is we're trying to confirm, and we're trying to confirm for you as fast as possible. All right, so we're going to talk about this EE first. This is a space alignment, so it's going to see how we're getting along with our teammates. Now, we've actually got quite a few alignments today that are going to test teammates, so I'm just going to say this once. This is what you have to do. It doesn't matter if they're older, it doesn't matter if they're younger, it doesn't matter if they're male, it doesn't matter if they're female. You need to master how you get along with everyone we interact with and all members of our team. And that means you have to communicate with them, you have to cooperate with them, you have to try to alleviate stress, and you also have to be willing to coordinate and do objective with them. Objective meaning whatever it takes for us to leave all the future families better off than us. Now, that's a whole lot different than what we've been doing. So you can see a lot of us are going to struggle with this. Don't be surprised during these times if you start to feel this. We're just telling you what you have to do if you don't want accelerated damage and if you want to pass this objective. That's what this is all about. Now, if you're having trouble with older members of the team specifically, you're going to have a little trouble when this awareness first starts out. Now, on the other side here, we're going to talk about this 4-hour alignment on the time side. This has to do with balancing routines. So I'm going to do a spiel here too, because we got quite a few, and these are all about the bigger routines. So national and world, what does that mean? So if you see greens and yellows up here, the upper quadrants of the body, you better be doing something more than just for yourself and your family. You got to think bigger, and you have to contribute to a bigger picture because all individuals and families, we share that bigger picture. So if we're not taking care of it and it's not important enough for us to have it in our routine, well, then unfortunately, you're going to pay for this because that's what happens. This is biofeedback. You don't learn what you're supposed to be learning and start to do what you're supposed to be doing. Well, there's a consequence, and then that's what causes all the things that we don't want to have happen to us. Unfortunately, that's how this works. We're in a negative feedback loop. Now, when we're looking at this alignment, you're going to feel it in your upper right quadrant if there's an imbalance up there during this time. Now, that's 4 hours. That's pretty long. Now, let's keep moving here. We've got a PE. We're going to talk about this 2.5 hour one first. Same thing. This is World National. You better have your routines balanced up here. It's coming again. All right, next one we're going to talk about is this PE. This is on the space side. So this is checking again older members of the team. This is going to affect right upper quadrant. So you can see we're having some upper quadrant stuff back to back to back here. All right. Now we're going to the ME. All right. So we're going to talk about the ME on the time side first. Again, this is going to test upper quadrant, specifically left. This has to do with routines. They better be balanced. All right, so then we've got this ME. This is an hour and a half. This is the first time we're going down into lower quadrants of the body. This is again teammates. We talked about this. So you got to get along with younger members of the team. Don't let your defensive design take over. If that's happening, unfortunately, you're going to be taking some damage. You don't want that. If you do get some feedback and you don't like it, it's just telling you better change your routine. You better change the way you're interacting. All right, last one we're going to talk about is this ME. This is an hour and a half alignment. This is also going to be testing to see how we get along with the younger members of the team. You see how redundant these forecasts are? Literally, it's this simple. Commit to your team. Get along with all of them at all costs. Do not let your defensive design do anything to stop that. And be sure that you're no more important than anybody else, and this world is equally important to all of things that live here. We need to treat it such as. If you do that, you're going to be in great shape. All right. So now we're going to end out here with these two graphs. Okay. We add these because these shows where the strongest frequencies are sitting, and there's a small imbalance today. You can see we've got 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the right, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the left. Now, there's one quadrant that's not being affected here in third person. So if you happen to get left lower quadrant pain in this next 24 hours and it lasts that 24-hour period of time, we know you got first person stuff. In all the other quadrants, there's overlap with these strong frequencies. And when overlap happens, we really just want you to document. Pay attention to what you feel when you feel it, then use our software. Punch in the times. It'll tell you exactly what's causing your issues, but then don't overcomplicate it. Commit to your team, commit to your routine. You don't need any of these graphs. You just need to overcome your defensive design. Not so easy to do. Now, that's why we post this. This is the rest of the electromagnetics for 2024. The rest of summer, the rest of fall, okay? So you can go ahead weeks and months, see when this pattern is going to elevate. You can be prepared. You've got no more excuses. And if you don't prepare for this pattern, I promise you, look around. It is causing all the chaos that's causing all of the unfortunate things that we're experiencing together. We want to make this better. We need individuals overcoming this pattern. When we get regions of individuals overcoming this pattern, we're going to start to create collective change. That's what Health Reconnect is trying to do here. We need as many as we can to start wanting to get healthy and making this place better for future people. All right. Talk to you in the next one.